Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Software Quality and Beer. My name is Bob Cruz and I am here with Matt Kubal.
Hello.
Senior technician, technical guru, and man of the hour. Hey Matt, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
Good. So hey, real quick, I want to thank Thirsty Buffalo, who is located here in Odessa, Florida. Obviously a brewery, thus the brews, for letting us use their space to record our podcast. It's always a great time if you're ever in the area, and they're like just 30 minutes north of Tampa. Anyway, great place. Matt, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Mango Cart NA beer, non-alcoholic, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
By the same Mango Cart who makes the 48?
They make a bunch of stuff, I think.
Yeah, they do. That's the one of theirs. And I'm drinking again, because I had this, I know, an episode or two ago, the Trailmaker, which is a delicious pale ale, very good. So hey everybody, again, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. I'm very excited because we're going to be talking about a very exciting topic. One of our great partners, Inflectra. So, and we're going to specifically, Matt, you've really been diving into Rapise.
Yep.
I think some of you may know Matt is a functional automation expert. He truly is. And he's been diving into Rapise, so we're going to chat about that and the things that Matt really likes, loves about Rapise.
Which is their functional automation tool.
Which is
specify, yeah.
Which is their functional automation tool, because Inflectra also creates Spira. So there's Spira Test, Spira Team, and Spira Plan, 3 different tiers of an excellent test management solution, which we also love. But the other thing I want to dive into is, as CEO of Checkpoint Technologies, when we're looking at partners, obviously we look at the solutions they offer. So there's kind of think of a triangle. So obviously we look at their solutions. Many times I've called upon Matt's expertise, technical expertise, to help evaluate a lot of the solutions, right?
Sure.
Yep. We do that with a number of our partners, new and old. But the other 2 things that we look at is we look at their partner program. That's important to us. And we also look at the company themselves, their culture. And one of the things we absolutely love about Inflectra, Adam Sandman, the CEO, the team, Rick, Teresa, Audrey, just all of them, Jessica, they just really make sure that their organization has the same culture that we share a vision with. They're very focused on customer satisfaction as well as internally, so great organization. So again, I'm very excited to be talking about Inflectra and Rapise. So with that said, we're going to dive in. Mm-hmm. So Matt Kubal, man of the hour. So what are some of the things you really like about Rapise?
So you asked me to think of 4 or 5 of them. I came up with, I think, 6 or so, but
okay, good.
We'll go through them.
Good.
The first one I had was the tool being easy to pick up and learn.
Okay.
So, like all automation tools, they offer a sort of scriptless way of using the solution, and I find that Rapise is particularly easy to pick up and learn. There's the language itself, or the way you interact with the RVL, which is Rapise Visual Language, in the sort of spreadsheet interface. It's pretty well documented on their website. Basically, anything you want to do, it's there on their site with an example of how to do that. The other thing I like is it's like, as you're selecting what you want to do, whether you want to take an action on an object, or you want to call a function, or create a data map, which is essentially a spreadsheet of data. It fills in what it's expecting from you as it goes, right? So you're not like in the dark trying to fill in spreadsheets. It pops in. Like if you're doing a map, it'll pop in, how a map is formatted, or if you're doing a for loop or something like that, an if loop, it'll pop in, exactly what it's expecting from you to fill out that functionality. So
Okay.
it sort of clues you in to everything that's going on there.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, they have really good online training.
So hold on one
Yeah.
second, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So one of the things, the easy to learn, man, that is so important, because I know, and this is not a criticism, but I did some consulting a number of years ago for a very, very large grocery store chain, and their testers had been the week before, they had been cashiers. Again, not a criticism. But
Yeah.
it's one of the things I'm finding in this day and age, that when we go to different organizations, the testers have different levels of technical expertise.
Yeah.
Some may be very, very technical, where they're programmers. They can talk bits and bytes with the best of them.
Yeah.
But then you have some who say, no, we want as our testers people who really know the business.
Yeah.
Thus the cashiers. So easy to learn for individuals such as that.
Yeah.
Very beneficial.
Yeah.
But then you were saying about a second one, a kind of a tie-in, right?
Yeah, you can pretty easily get into the tool as a new user and just start a test and walk through their trainings, which are free. At least the sort of intro trainings are
Okay.
generally free. The trainings you need to get up and running in the tool are all free. Like you will know as much as you need to do pretty much anything you want to in the tool for free.
Okay.
And so that's readily available on the website, easy to get to, easy to register for, and work your way through the training. So that's a good benefit there. And then, so the next thing would be sort of related to that. If you're more advanced, the automation is all in JavaScript in the back end. So
Okay.
usually that's not exposed to you by default. You can choose to do that if you want. By default, just work in JavaScript. So if you're more advanced,
Okay.
you could absolutely just work in JavaScript. But the RVL is great, just working with that. And then as you become, you go from a new user to more intermediate, there's functionality in Rapise where I can like highlight if there's maybe a function that an if statement I'm looping through, or some sort of interaction that I'm doing over and over again. I can highlight that and say, hey, I want to turn this into a function that I can just call instead. You can highlight it in the RVL sheet and say convert to JavaScript, and just modify that slightly, drop it into your function file, and call it easily in the RVL sheet. So it just exists in your function file, and instead now you're just calling the function. Which
Nice.
might be just a single line. If you don't need any additional arguments or something like that, it's just a single line. So
Okay.
it's very convenient to kind of go back and forth and use the RVL as a helper if you're not an expert in JavaScript.
Okay.
That sort of thing. So
Cool. Nice.
see, next thing I had here was the integration with Spira. So you mentioned the Spira suite of tools.
Right.
I was actually surprised at how simple it was to create agents that could execute tests from Spira. I know we were on a call, and I had to ask that question. I was like, how do I get these things to schedule? I have no idea. It's not apparent to me, and I didn't realize it was just the obvious option of putting in the time to execute in there. Like I had defined where we were going to execute it.
Right.
And I was like, I still don't understand. I don't see a scheduler anywhere, but the scheduler is just tell it when you
Right.
want to execute, and it goes.
And knowing you as well as I do,
Yeah.
I mean, Matt's been with us for over 10 years.
Yeah.
The reason it wasn't obvious to you was because you were comparing it to the
Yeah.
way other solutions
Oh, yeah.
do it, right?
Yep. Usually you've
So,
got
yeah.
these agents that you're having trouble getting configured to communicate with the tool, and it's got other places in the tool you're having to do all this setup to get
Yeah.
the endpoints working.
Yeah, you're there.
And-
It's like there's got to
yeah.
be a simpler way.
The same info you give Spira to like link in and get your license if you're doing a concurrent license is the same info you give it really to set up to configure any machine as an execution agent. So I was kind of baffled because it was so simple, right? I was assuming it must be more complicated.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to find how easy that was.
Okay.
And I was able to just execute things wherever I wanted. So long as I had Spira set up on the machine, I could just easily fire off tests wherever I wanted from, so long as I had Rapise set up on the machine.
Okay.
I could fire off tests from Spira wherever I wanted.
Nice,
And,
nice.
Yeah, it was the integration there is very tight and surprisingly simple.
And the organizations that we've been to, and organizations I'm sure like a lot of you, I mean, that ramp up time with a solution, learning it, which you've mentioned two things about that already, and then implementing it, configuring it, getting it set up. And that ramp up time, keep it simple. That's key.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Build. Learn that initial bit. Build from that. May modify as you learn some new tricks and stuff like that. But yeah.
Nice.
You got to get started.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
So, I don't know where we are on time.
So what would one more you might say?
One more?
If you were to give one more.
I guess we can talk AI since it's a big thing for everybody these days.
Okay.
They want to know what sort of AI integration there is. As of right now, Rapise can integrate with various AI providers. I was able to hook it up with ChatGPT very easily. Just give it my API key, and right now it can do data generation pretty simply. No problem there. I need like 100 people, names and addresses and that sort of thing, right? But if you have a framework built out and you have modules or pages and stuff like that, and you have a pretty good set of objects from those pages that you're already interacting with, you can pretty easily go in and say, hey, I need a test to do this thing, and just paste that into your RVL sheet, and it should go out and do its best to find those objects in the repository and create a test based on that. So
nice.
That functionality is there to some degree. I know that's all ever changing. So who knows? By the time we posted this, it could be well past that. Who knows? We'll see.
We will definitely get this posted within the next couple of months. So.
Okay.
So outstanding. So I'm going to just touch upon at a high level the 6 topics you covered.
Yes.
So easy to learn, small learning curve, awesome, with a very closely related second topic of the resources that Inflectra offers you. So they have this thing, Inflectra Campus, which is awesome. They have some training you can pay for, virtual training. But here's the other thing. Remember, you can always call Checkpoint Technologies, right? You all know that. Then there's Rapise Visual Language, you said, which easily converts over to JavaScript, which is cool.
Yeah.
Simple integration with Spira in a number of ways, including, and I'm counting this as number 5, the Rapise license server integration.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, I guess the point on that is usually you have if you have a concurrent license, you have to set up some sort of license server, external your tools that are already there, and so you're going to some third-party tool, and you've got to, keep upgrading that as you upgrade your tool, and rehost your licenses and pull them on your own and get them up there. And it's another thing to worry about with the concurrent licenses from Inflectra. They're just in your Spira account, and so you just hook that up. You're already going to do that anyway, since you have both, and you're going to be hooked up anyway. So it just pulls a license. One less thing to worry about.
Nice.
Pretty convenient.
Cool. And then AI Rapise functionality. And one of the things everybody, a lot of organizations are telling you about AI functionality. Matt, Matt focused, I know, on what he sees that is better or different or easier than other solutions.
Yeah.
So awesome, Matt. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
With that said, we're going to finish our cold brews, as my grandfather would say. Matt, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. You take care. Have a great day.
Thank you.